Good evening to you and welcome to ITV News. This is Monday night's calendar.
Yes, hello, good evening. Here are tonight's main stories.
40-year fight for justice. Police apologise to a West Yorkshire abuse survivor after repeatedly ignoring her reports of being raped.
I couldn't give up because I knew he was still a rapist, was still on the street. And I'm thinking, why have I got to live with this while he's roaming free?
And looking at them side by side, this is the real one, that is the fake one.
How the 3 lions on your shirt could be supporting organised crime. Warnings over a boom in counterfeit kit sales across Yorkshire.
About time too. Sun seekers and seaside businesses finally get something to smile about on a glorious day along the East Coast.
Yes, it's the weather we've all been waiting for. I've been soaking up the sun along with so many others in beautiful Whitby.
And almost anywhere in the region is a holiday hotspot tomorrow, but whether you're a sun worshipper or a shade seeker, I'll have your full forecast a little later on.
So yes, hello, good evening from the calendar team. First tonight, a woman from West Yorkshire who was sexually abused by her father as a child says she's finally received an apology from police 4 decades after she first made a complaint.
Carol Higgins, who has waived her right to anonymity, was just 15 years old when she reported being attacked back in 1984. Now, just a warning that Carol talks candidly about her experience and of the language she says police used towards her.
With her father now serving a 20-year jail sentence, Carol hopes the apology from the police will give other victims the strength to come forward. She's been speaking to our reporter Jonathan Brown.
The police said to me, if this goes to court, your name will be blackened and dragged through the mud and you will be made out to be the biggest liar and slag going. Can you handle that? I've always remembered them words. And it kept coming back to me, and you know, the trauma from living with the terror of growing up in that house made me want to keep knocking on the police door.
Carol was 15 years old when she opened up about the rape and abuse she'd suffered at the hands of her own father. But instead of being believed, she says, she was mocked.
I couldn't give up because I knew he was still a rapist, was still on the streets, and I knew that if the police was treating me like this, there was just something inside me that compelled me to keep on going.
Aged just 12 when the abuse started, her father bought her an engagement ring and even had his nickname tattooed on her back. She reported him to police 5 times between 1984 and 2017, and at one point was even warned she may be pursued for harassment by raising the allegations. In all, it took 35 years for Elliot Appleyard to be punished for his crimes. In 2019, he was jailed for 20 years for 5 counts of rape and 10 of indecent assault.
I write as Chief Constable of West Yorkshire Police to offer my sincere apology for the way in which you have been treated over the last 39 years.
After another long fight through civil court, she's now received compensation, and the acknowledgement, she says, is just as important.
Sheer release of frustration, really, and felt like a lot lighter, and it felt like that other people might be listened to now.
West Yorkshire Police told Calendar that Carol had been given personal reassurance that the force has learned from the mistakes made in her case. The region's Deputy Mayor for Policing and Crime, who herself was a victim of child sexual abuse, says while new initiatives mean more allegations are resulting in prosecutions, improvements are still needed.
No victim is the same. We all behave differently. But when a victim is strong enough, brave enough to come to policing to talk about their lived experience, police have to act in a consistent way which meets the needs of each victim, which we know did not happen in Carol's case, but which I have confidence is happening more and more and will be happening more and more.
Sit down.
For Carol, recognition of her struggles, she says, has lifted a weight she's long shouldered. Though despite winning her own battle, she plans to continue advocating for those suffering behind closed doors. Jonathan Brown, ITV News.
And of course, we'd like to thank Carol for sharing her story with us. And if you've been affected by any of the issues in that report, there's advice on where you can get support on the Calendar website.
Next, with England playing in their final Euro 2024 group game tomorrow night, you can expect to see plenty of fans wearing the famous Three Lions shirt.
But are they always the real deal? Well, we found evidence of a growing trade in counterfeit football jerseys being sold in our region for a fraction of the normal retail price.
Often advertised through social media, you can barely tell the difference between fakes and official shirts. But those buying them could be funding things like modern slavery and organised crime. Nick Smith reports.
Major international football tournaments creates a boom in demand for replica shirts. But the new official England jersey, or one from a top club side, will set you back £80 or more. And it's no surprise counterfeits are becoming more and more popular, with videos reviewing their quality all over social media channels.
And look at that. Like, for me, you just can't tell. And look at them side by side. This is the real one. That is the fake one.
It didn't take me long at all trawling through online marketplaces to find suspected fake kits being sold locally. I can see people advertising in Mexborough, Bradford and Huddersfield, claiming to have New England tops for as little as £20, when an official retailer will charge 4 or 5 times that amount. Trading Standards officers investigate sellers of fake shirts and warn that buying knockoffs could be funding sinister enterprises.
These people are making these items for little money, long hours in poor conditions, but it's also where that money is going to. They tend to fund organised crime groups, so OCGs, and we know that that money is then going on to fund things like drugs, people trafficking, modern day slavery.
Fake shirt sales can also harm legitimate retailers. They can be considerably undercut by counterfeiters, so rely on collectors in their customer base wanting the real deal and say there's an easy way for people to check.
The main thing is the code at the bottom. If it's a Nike shirt, underneath the bottom of the shirt there will be a code. You pop that code into Google, and then once that shirt comes up on Google, that will mean it's real. If a different shirt comes up, it will be fake.
It's a huge problem at the moment. It's huge because it does affect businesses like ourselves. What you find with a lot with the fake shirts is the material's not quite there. After a few washes, they can disintegrate. It's definitely a different level of what you're paying for from the fake markets compared to the genuine ones.
Manufacturers like Nike say they consider multiple factors in the replica shirt sale price, including rising production costs. But as that price pushes towards the 3-figure mark, buying the real thing might become a luxury only a few can afford. Nick Smith, ITV News.
Interesting. Now then, still to come on calendar tonight, making a splash. Summer finally arrived on the East Coast today, giving sunseekers and beach businesses something to smile about.
It's absolutely lovely to be out in the sunshine after weeks and weeks of awful weather. So yeah, it's been really great coming out to it be.
But first, some more of the day's news, and a man's appeared in court charged with the murder of a woman in Rotherham. Police were called to a property on Herringthorpe Valley Road on Friday evening where a 53-year-old woman was seriously injured. She died at the scene. Lawrence Ward, who's 57, appeared at Sheffield magistrates today, charged with her murder.
Rob Burrows' wife Lindsay says the outpouring of love since Rob's passing from motor neurone disease earlier this month has been of huge comfort to her and her family.
Outpouring of love and support that we've received as a family has been incredible, and it really has brought comfort to us in these, these tough times. And we've had so many special messages and just people reaching out. And I think Rob was such an inspiration to so many people. He showed us the way. He showed us how to be brave. He showed us how to be positive, resilient, and that's what we've got to remember.
A Yorkshire-based animal charity says it's receiving 50 emails a week from desperate cat owners who need to surrender their pets. Yorkshire Cat Rescue says delays to neutering due to the pandemic has led to a surge in unwanted litters. 300 cats are currently waiting for a place at the rescue centre.
It's the craziest season we've ever seen. We've never been this full. We've recently had 2 kittens that were found on a footpath through a field. They were literally a day old. They'd not even been cleaned properly from mum, so the situation's just become out of control.
Oh, I'd have them all,
I was just about to say that, yeah.
Now then, with just 10 days to go until the general election, the fate of Yorkshire's Red Wall hangs in the balance. Labour is surging ahead in opinion polls, but that's not stopping 5 candidates, including the incumbent Miriam Cates, from battling it out for Penistone and Stocksbridge.
Our political correspondent Charanpreet Kara has been speaking to them about the places that inspire them to represent this constituency so that you can get to know them better.
Penistone and Stocksbridge was once a central brick in Yorkshire's Red Wall.
We've made history here in South Yorkshire tonight.
In 2019, that crumbled and the seat turned blue. Now, 5 candidates are battling to take control. I asked each of them to show me a corner of the constituency that's influenced their decision to stand.
Where are we and why are we here?
So we're in Coronation Park in Uterbridge, and when I first became a councillor, one of the big issues was around this park, around flooding. This park flooded very badly in 2007. And we got together as councillors to save the park, and that's really what inspired me to go to the next step in politics, to stand to be elected as an MP.
You won that campaign in 2019, but this is traditionally a Red Wall seat, and given the National Conservative campaign, do you think it's going to go back to being part of Labour's Red Wall?
Actually, in 2017, Labour only won by 1,000 votes here. In fact, it was very, very close. So I think it's very mixed, and people are floating voters more now than they used to be. And certainly on the doorstep, I'm not finding anybody who's excited about voting Labour.
Hoping to excite that electorate, Marie Tidball is Labour's candidate here. We meet in Silkstone at a memorial remembering the 26 children killed in 1838 when the Husker Pit flooded.
When I was at school in Penistone, I had to do a history project on something that had happened locally, and I did a project on the Husker Pit disaster that led to the 1842 Mines Act, and that was something that just showed me the power that politics, that the law could have in improving the conditions of people's lives.
So you believe that politics can change the lives of children here in Penistone and Stocksbridge, but some people have criticised the Labour Party for not being bold enough with its plans to do that.
We have a situation after 14 years of the Conservative government where they have broken our economy.
Labour and the Conservatives have clashed throughout this campaign. But are their tactics convincing voters?
Could I roll the dice to the side?
At this weekly games night in Penistone, some feel it's the politicians who are playing games.
This one is a powerful shapeshifter. I think they are quite like shapeshifters. They just say what they want, what they think the people want to hear, just so that they can win the election and get in power.
Wheel of Misfortune.
Well, I see you've just been dealt the Wheel of Misfortune. Do you have any idea which party could change Penistone's fortune?
Honestly, I couldn't say. There's not much of a choice between the parties that are out there.
Well, what Ava and Minnie are trying to do in this game is take out their opposition and win points along the way. It's a little bit like the campaign trail. Well, here in Penistone and Stocksbridge, it's traditionally been seen as a 2-horse race between Labour and the Conservatives. But this time round, there are 5 candidates, all navigating treacherous terrain. One of those candidates is Liberal Democrat councillor Robert Rees, who met me in his Ecclesfield ward.
It's the place where if I go and knock on doors, I get the response, you're all as bad as each other. Or I vote every year and nothing changes. And as someone who's involved in politics, that hurts. Because I want people to be involved in politics. I want people to engage with it.
The Lib Dems aren't targeting many seats across Yorkshire. How are you going to persuade people to vote for change when you're not actually going to have many MPs representing Yorkshire in the House of Commons?
Yeah, there is a chance I might not win. The resources are going elsewhere. But I don't want to refuse people the opportunity to vote for something rather than against something at this general election.
While Robert Rees knows what it's like to fight an election, Edward Dillingham is new to politics. His motivation to run for Reform UK comes closer to home. He asked to meet me in his back garden.
This is where my family live. This is where my daughter was born, just over there. And this is the reason why I am running for Parliament. You know, immigration affects everything. And stopping all these negatives coming into our country is what the British people want.
You just described immigrants as negatives, but many of the people coming here are on work visas and so positively contributing to the economy.
Mass immigration makes people poorer through GDP per head.
From gardens to green spaces, to meet the Green Party's Andy Davis.
This is Grano Woods.
it's one of the places I feel kind of most connected to nature. And I feel that kind of symbolises in a way what I want for society.
Is this focus on nature and the climate just for the privileged?
No, absolutely not. I think it's quite the opposite. The mental and physical well-being benefits that brings, it saves the country money on public services.
Enjoying those benefits with their horses Big Tom and Shandy, Annie and Linda feel passionately about the importance of this election.
The environment is a really, really important thing for us. I mean, we're out 3 times a week, aren't we, in these woods?
The infrastructure of the country has just hit rock bottom. Doctors, dentists, bin collections. I haven't decided who I'm voting for, but I know who I'm not voting for, and that's the Tory party.
As candidates and voters look to protect the places they care about, the political landscape of Penistone and Stocksbridge may be set to change. Charanpreet Khera, ITV News.
Thanks very much to Charanpreet. Well, a reminder of the candidates you've just heard from in Penistone and Stocksbridge. Here they are. Polls open at 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, July the 4th and close at 10 o'clock in the evening. And don't forget, you'll need that all-important photo ID with you, otherwise you won't be able to vote.
And later this evening, the Tonight programme will be speaking to some of the leaders of Great Britain's largest parties fighting for your vote.
Yes, ITV has heard from the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage, co-leader of the Green Party, Carla Denyer, as well as the SNP's John Swinney.
They all have an alternative vision for the country and hope that the ideas in their manifestos will be enough to win your votes.
That of the people that have been coming into work over the course of the last 2 years, these vast numbers that we've talked about, 50% are dependents. So we just need some plain common sense on this. And the population explosion is impacting the life of every single person in this country.
We're not afraid to talk about how we would raise that. So as we discussed earlier, it's about changes to the tax system that would move the onus from those on lower incomes who can't afford to pay very much towards those with the broader shoulders who absolutely can.
You think that the SNP's destroyed its chances of ever leading Scotland to independence?
No, I think we've had a rough time for a few years, and I'm in here to sort that all out, to build our trust with the voters of Scotland.
And you can see the full interview on ITV1 and ITVX at 7 o'clock tonight. Now, is it me? Or is it hot out there?
It's, well, yeah, it is hot, isn't it?
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
nice for a change.
And we like it being hot for once.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting for it for a few weeks, haven't we? So we shouldn't really complain, should we? If you're worried about the heat health warnings, there's a heat health alert issued by the government until Thursday. It's the lowest tier, it goes yellow, amber and red. And that's advised, or there's an advisory from the Met Office, but it's not a Met Office weather warning. That would be our extreme heat warning. And that would be when we've got those temperatures in the 30s and 40s and they become really quite dangerous. So it's really for the emergency responders. So if you're reading about that, but it is very warm. It's been very warm over the weekend. We've been enjoying it finally on a Saturday and a Sunday. This was yesterday near Flamborough. It looked like the Med. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. At the coast, it has been a little bit cooler, sort of low 20s, more my cup of tea. But inland yesterday, we got to nearly 26. We got to nearly 26 in Sheffield today, but this was out towards Filey again. We got to nearly 22 Celsius. A big thank you to Tracy Roberts. But those temperatures are going to rise by day and by night, and it's that cumulative effect over the next couple of days and nights where it's going to start to feel a little bit oppressive. So we could be getting 28 inland tomorrow, and that's about 8 degrees higher than we'd expect for the time of year. The daily max is around 19, 20, and our overnight lows are around 10. And tonight and tomorrow night, we could be looking, certainly towns and cities, at around 18. So that's a very warm and humid. It's about the air rather than the sunshine at the moment.
It felt okay last night, didn't it?
Yeah. But I just think it's that on and off effect. So if you've got your curtains open and you're letting all that sunshine in during the day and that heat, it's going to become increasingly oppressive by night. So what do we need to do? Well, we seek shade, 11 a.m. until 3 p.m. In the afternoon. That's the best time to do it. So the best time to walk your doggos is in the morning and, of course, in the evening. Very thirsty work for those doggos at the moment. So, of course, we, the people and the poochers need to cool off. A big thank you to Kerry for sharing it. Also, we need a chilled treat like an ice cream. That's a strawberry one. My favourite is mint chalky chip, but do you know that Whitby do a special one called Whitby Goth, and it's aniseed and it's delicious?
I didn't know that actually. No, I didn't.
Well, you should mention Whitby.
Well, in this lovely weather, where better to head to than the coast in Whitby, where the sun's been cracking the flags for a couple of days now, and it looks set to continue.
Yes, at long last, tourists and businesses are reaping the rewards from the sunny spell and enjoying the long-awaited summer. Sally Simpson has spent the day in Whitby. Just have a look at her there. What is she wearing? She looks great, doesn't she?
She looks like she's on holiday.
She looks like she's enjoying the sunshine. Sally.
I certainly have been all day, Ian, and nothing's better for business at the seaside, is it, than the sunshine. And here in Whitby, well, it's been wall to wall all day. After a frankly depressing spring, summer has finally arrived, lifting everyone's spirits, and businesses, tourists and locals alike have been making the most of it. The tills are ringing, the beaches are busy. Everyone loves to be beside the seaside, as I've been finding out. When the sun comes out on the coast, so do the crowds. Whitby is riding high on the crest of a wave and welcoming back the visitors who've been kept at bay by the recent poor weather. Keeping cool is the order of the day, and there's been a brisk trade in ice cream. Tourist attractions too are making hay while the sun shines.
I think Whitby in general, as a tourist town, people do actually check the weather a lot more now, and I think if the weather forecast isn't very good, then people don't travel, and we can see the numbers affected by that. So it's great that we've had the last few days, and long may it continue.
Today, under a cloudless sky, the near-perfect conditions were putting a smile on everyone's face.
It's absolutely marvellous.
It's lovely,
Yeah.
beautiful.
After such a terrible winter.
I woke up this morning and so I feel like I'm abroad. We came on Friday and it's been absolutely gorgeous ever since.
Just the sound of all these wretched seagulls.
You're not keen on them?
It's absolutely lovely to be out in the sunshine after weeks and weeks of awful weather.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
This is a beautiful place.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's nice to be out in the sun, seeing everybody out and about.
So lucky, so needed it. Yeah, and it just everyone, look, just all having a great time. Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's been a long time since we've sort of had this nice weather.
Some nice sunshine.
It feels like an age.
Just want more of it, don't we?
It's set to continue for at least a few days, with temperatures forecast to soar by midweek. Summer's here, for now at least, and everyone's having a splashing time. Sally Simpson, ITV News, Whitby.
Beautiful.
Oh, I wish I was there, don't you?
I know, yeah, rather than being sat inside all day.
I'd buy you an ice cream. What would you have?
Oh, I would have, as what Kerry said, chocolate mint chip. I like that.
Not a 99.
No, I don't think so. No. Let's get the weather from Kerry.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello again. Yes, summer finally arrived, mostly dry with a big dose of sunshine during the course of today. Very warm inland, even warmer still as we head through into tomorrow. But head to the coastline, it will still feel very pleasant there tomorrow, but with a light sea breeze, just making it feel a bit fresher. But don't let the sunshine catch you out of very high EV sunburn risk. So high pressure to the east of us, dragging in that lovely warm air from the south, becoming increasingly humid overnight tonight, but keeping any weather fronts at bay to the north and to the west. So it's definitely dry overnight tonight, but there will be some cloud coming and going. And where it does sit over the towns and cities, it's likely to just keep those temperatures well up into the high teens. So a really muggy and quite uncomfortable night for sleeping in many places as we head towards dawn. But a very warm start as we head into Tuesday. 4:36 and 9:41 are your sun times. Another mostly dry day tomorrow, increasing amounts of sunshine through the morning, and then into the afternoon and early evening. Very slightly elevated chance of catching a sharp shower, but it will be the exception rather than the rule for most of us. Plenty of blue sky, very oppressive temperatures perhaps inland, 28, possibly even a 29 Celsius. Much more comfortable at the coast, but don't let the sunshine catch you out. A UV of 7. As we head into Wednesday, we're looking at a UV risk of potentially 8. Very rarely say that in the UK. Temperatures well above the average for the time of year, but again another dose of blue sky and sunshine. Just the slight possibility of some fresh
threat coming in off the North Sea at times, but we're hoping it will push back out into the North Sea. And then as we've got a weak weather front on Thursday, not really generating much in the way of rain, but it will freshen things up by Friday.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
Yes, I don't think I have to say it. Do an absolute nightmare for hay fever sufferers at the moment. The grass pollen count has been very high over the next few days, very high over the last few days, possibly just a little bit lower Thursday into Friday. There you go, and even though it's a nightmare as a hay fever sufferer, I've been really loving it the last few days, especially the evenings. They've been really
Those hot nights. I can't open my window in the bedroom because the cats will get out onto the roof.
Yeah.
It gets really hot.
Well, and lucky Sally, who's out at the coast. I think we can just show you some more pictures now of Whitby, just down there at the harbour.
A live shot, look at that.
Absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And the sea is so still, actually, isn't it, just at the moment?
It is. Well, look,
gorgeous.
if you'll go to the seaside this week, hope you have a great time.
Put some sunscreen on.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for definite, for sure.
Join us again tomorrow. Good night.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.